Sure we are good here. Just want to see. All right, dude, we're live, man.
All right.
Welcome to the we'll call this the show because I think this will probably be on at least the podcast. But we're live on social media right now. And I know I'd say at least thousands of people. It's probably a safe estimate have seen your before and after. So to say you're famous would not be an understatement, but I know you're coming off of a tough loss last night as a Canadian hockey fan. I don't think you're an Oilers fan. Are you celebrating today? Like what's going on?
To be honest, I don't really care about the hockey thing, right? And maybe if it was Toronto, it would have been a different story. But even that, right?
Yeah.
It's not my big passion or anything. So, but congrats to Florida for sure.
I was rooting for the Oilers. Just I'm gonna get some flack for that, but I have so many clients. Actually, it's two of my really close friends who are clients are huge Oilers fans, and so I was rooting for them because it's Florida already won last year, but nonetheless, I hear you, man. It's like at the end of the day, it's over. No one really cares that much. It's already on to the next thing. But why people are here and are tuning into this is because they want to know like how the heck you made such a crazy transformation, right? If they've seen your before and after, people want to know the secrets, and so I have a ton of questions for you, but we're not going to get through all of them. I just want to get a few answers from you that I know will help a lot of people. I think the best place to start is take us back to day one. What was going on life wise when you decided that, hey, I want to get some help. I want to make a change. What was going on in your world at that point?
Sure. So, I mean, I think like everyone, during COVID, and I know in Canada, I think we had it a lot rougher than you guys did in the States. But, it was just a couple of years where it was really just kind of wasting my life and sitting at home and just not doing any activity. I mean, nothing was open, gyms weren't open. I was getting all my food delivered and not groceries delivered. It was all like prepared junk food, fast food, lots of McDonald's, lots of pizza. Um, but yeah, so when we came out of COVID, I found myself just in the worst shape of my life. I was probably in my early 40s at the time, and 50 pounds overweight. Struggled to do anything really. Like sometimes I live in a condo. I'm on the 27th floor in downtown Toronto, and there was times maybe if the power went out or the elevator didn't work, it was a disaster for me to walk upstairs, right? So,
Mm.
um, and just even to walk a couple blocks, I would be out of breath, right? So, I definitely knew I couldn't continue like this. You know, Even sadly, I'd seen other people in my life that they maybe didn't take as good care of themselves, having some either major problems now or even you know dealing with some really serious health crises. So I didn't want to find myself in that same position, right? So
Mm.
I had in the past previously worked out, and on and off again. But I knew I really had to start a program, but I wanted to stay consistent in it, right? So
Mm.
I think after about a year or so of following your content and stuff online and applying whatever I could, the principles that I could, I was seeing great results, and decided what the hell, I might as well go all in. So I think I signed up for your program in June of 2023, and right away it was amazing. It was like just putting my fitness into high gear, right? So I saw like major weight loss within the first 1 or 2 months. I had dropped 30 or 40 pounds. And I think the biggest change from that just came from the nutritional aspect that I got, right?
Mm.
So prior to that, in my 20s, I I had been told, that the nutrition was one of the most important things, but I don't know if I was just too young to really listen to it, or even still, I didn't really understand what that meant. Like I knew that guys that had gotten success just told me you got to eat a lot of protein, but nobody told me what a lot of protein was, right? So my idea of eating a lot of protein was maybe having a chicken breast, or maybe one or two chicken breasts a day with some eggs, and I had enough protein, right?
Mm.
And really looking back at it, I wasn't even getting 100 grams of protein, right? So obviously, I know that's not enough. And once I implemented that, and also I think we've talked about it before, where I was kind of uh, led to believe that avoid carbs, avoid fats. These are all your enemies. When that's really not the case, right? It's
Mm.
about having a healthy balance and getting your macros right. And right away, once I implemented that, or like once my coach implemented that for me into my macros, right away I had more energy and I was having more effective workouts at the gym. So um, yeah, and just from there I just took it and ran with it, right? It's pretty easy to remain consistent when you're seeing results, right? It's the
Mm.
best thing when people are telling you also, like you see your own results, but when people tell you, that really just keeps giving you the motivation to continue doing it. um but aside from that, I think also just the motivation I get from everyone else in the community, right? We all motivate each other, and we all make it a fun challenge.
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of people who, nowadays, because man, I've been, in the online fitness world now since like 2012, 2013. It's changed so much. There's like a million fitness people out there. There's like, the guys who look incredible. There's the girls who look incredible. Like it's just really like crowded and there's so much information. Um, what were some of the things? Because I think there's a lot of people who are, in a spot probably similar to you before you joined that were like, I know I need to do something. What am I going to do? There's just so many options. What were you a little skeptical about before you joined the program, if anything?
So I was definitely skeptical of the whole online aspect of it, right? Because um, even though I had seen some other individuals at the gym training online and doing video workouts and stuff like that, to me it's something I'd never done before. I'd always going back 20 years ago, I was always used to in-person training, having your trainer with you in the gym. So that was kind of just a new concept for me. But I guess I thought about it even in the way that I look at my own career. I'm a financial planner, and over the last 20 years, my role has really evolved, and especially with COVID, where I'm dealing with, I would say, 95% of my clients online now. So
Mm.
I thought, if my role has evolved, why couldn't other roles evolve? So I just decided, why not give it a shot?
Yeah. What surprised you when you joined? Like, was there anything you were like, oh, I wasn't expecting that?
Truthfully, the biggest thing that has surprised me about TT and the TT community is it is, in fact, it's just the community and the support that you get, not only from yourself and your team of coaches, but from the other members, right? It's just
Mm.
like it's invaluable to be able to have people that I can reach out to if I have a quick question. Let's just say I can be out at a restaurant and I'm not sure what is the healthier choice to make, and I can send a quick text message and get a response back, right?
Mm.
So to me, that's amazing. But just I think I kind of touched base on it already, but it's just the support and the motivation that you get from your fellow teammates, right? Like I have certain people in the program that I talk to every day. I mean, we don't talk extensively. It could just be a text message here or there, but it makes all the difference to know when you've got this accountability and you have
Mm.
others that are holding you accountable, and you want to not only do a good job for yourself, but you want to do a good job for the rest of your team and for your coaches as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always tell people coaching is great. I mean, I love coaching, but I know as a coach, I can only do so much. I'm just one person. Same with my coaches. They're great, world class coaches. They know their stuff. They have a lot of experience and have done the work themselves. But like, we're still only one person at a time. But if you have a community, then you have all these people and their combined energy. And, by the way, they're also really great people. We're super fortunate. It's like not a lot of crazy egotistical or like, mean people in our community. Everybody's super, willing to help. And, I joke around, but I feel like the community wants other people to win more than they care about winning themselves. Even though we have a very competitive community, it's a very healthy level of competition, So like even this weekend where, I'm coming up to New York, you're in Toronto, but like you're coming down. We have, people in the local northeastern area coming in. We even have people from Pennsylvania coming in. And so we do these events, all around right now the East Coast, but the West Coast coming soon, and the Midwest too, even Texas, right? Where it's like these little pockets of our community get together and support each other in person, which I think makes a huge difference, man. Like it's given me friendships like all across the world actually, which is insane. Like it's mind blowing, really. I know a lot of people have asked me about this, so I'm going to ask you this: what does a day in the life look like for you? Right, to get ripped, like what? And don't tell them about the triple sessions of cardio, but like what what does a day in the life look like for David? Like you don't have to get into all the details because obviously what you do may not work for everybody, but like just generally speaking, what does a day in the life look for you?
Okay. Um, so I think, and again, it's such a contrast to the life I was living before, but for myself, what works for me is to have my workouts in the morning. So one thing that I've really relearned about myself is that I'm definitely a morning person. I do like to get up early, and I wake up every day at 5, and then I like to be at the gym for 6 before I go to work, and just get my weightlifting out of the way, because I find that if I towards the end of the day, if I wait until after work, I'm not going to go because I'm going to be super exhausted from dealing with my clients all day. Um, and it's just what works for me. It sets my day off on the right foot. Now, in terms of cardio, believe it or not, it's my cardio. The majority of my cardio just comes from me walking, right? And I never used to walk at all. It's crazy. Like even now, I look at, like, I can think back to times where I used to take the subway 1 or 2 stops. Like that's how lazy I was, right? But now I just make a more proactive decision to walk more places, and I find that I actually get to where I'm going faster a lot of times. But just by making that conscientious decision to actively look for more steps, I'm easily able to achieve around 15,000 steps a day now. That's not even working out really. I mean, I like to go for a walk after work. It just clears my mind and kind of de-stresses me. Aside from that, though, I'll do maybe 1 or 2 runs a week. And I just do that just to keep myself in shape so that, like this summer, for example, I'm going to meet up with some other people from TT, and we'll do a Spartan race in Alberta in August, right? So I just want to make sure that I can keep myself in shape to be able to run something like that. And I think we've discussed it before. It's a good place to be in when you can just on the spur of a moment decide, oh, I'm going to do a 10K this week, because you keep yourself trained in shape like that, right? But I think that by being consistent, my body is just really efficiently burning the calories like it's supposed to, right? So I really track, with my smartwatch and my Aura ring, how much calories I'm burning on a daily basis. So I know pretty much how much I should be eating, based on what I'm looking to do, whether I'm looking to just maintain or if I'm looking to put on some weight or drop some weight, right? And again, it's all effective stuff that I've learned through your program, right? So thank you.
Dude, yeah, you're like a walking billboard for fitness. Number one, I mean, number two, yeah, our program for sure. I mean, you've done the work. I mean, I can't take credit for that. You've been a huge example for not just our community members, but obviously people interested in getting help with their fitness. A lot of people want to know, what do you eat? Like, do you just cut all, like, I know we talked about carbs and fats not being the enemy anymore, but like, what are some of the, you don't have to go through every little thing that you've ever eaten, but like, what are some of your go-to meals that have helped you, get in shape and stay in shape?
Yeah, no problem. So usually what I'll do, and I mean, this is still, it's been over 2.5 years now that I've been faithfully tracking my food. Pretty much every day. Maybe the exception would be when I'm on a vacation or something with family. I'm not tracking food for that one week, but what I normally will do is in the morning I figure out what I'm going to eat and I implement. I'll put everything into the tracking app just to make sure that I'm going to successfully set up my day to hit my macros. Because what I found at the beginning is, if I was doing things as I ate throughout the day, I would find myself in a position where it would be nighttime and I'd be like, oh, I'm short on protein, but I'm over in fat. And you can't really make adjustments once you've already eaten everything, right? So I like to figure it out in the morning, and then that way, if something needs to be taken out or swapped, I can do it before I eat it, right? But you know what I eat is actually it's a pretty wide variety of food, and it's not as restrictive as people think. Like I eat lots of chicken. But it's not just like bland chicken. Like I'm having rotisserie chicken, I'm having taco seasoned chicken. I use lots of spices, lots of vegetables and stuff with my chicken. Make stir fries, lots of steaks. Occasionally I can do things like even have tacos and stuff, pizza. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but maybe once a month or something if I wanted to have pizza. I think the most important thing too is that you don't go overboard on any one type of food, right? So,
Mm.
as opposed to me having a whole pizza, a whole large pizza like I used to before, and even eating it throughout in different segments throughout the day, I might just grab one or two slices now and have that as a treat because like I know that I've earned that, and I don't look at it as being evil anymore. I look at it as it's something that I can fit in my macros if I need to. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense. I
yeah,
mean, I've I've
it's
spent time with you. Like we've hung out. I was just up in Toronto not that long ago, and we went out, had steaks, hung out, like ate like normal people. But I think the takeaway is like, number one, like we worked out before, we walked a bunch, right, and then
yeah,
we don't go crazy with food. I don't even think we had dessert. Like I think we just had like normal like dinner or whatever, maybe an appetizer. I can't remember, but like we ate like normal people, but we just have more self control because there's no restrictions, right? It's like I think the biggest problem people have with nutrition is they think there's like these rules that are so restrictive, right? Like you're not allowed to even look at pizza. You don't even can't even sniff like a bagel, right? You're gonna get fat, right? But it's just not the case. It's just about controlling your portions, knowing what you can get away with. And I think you nailed it with a huge takeaway for me, at least, too, to remember is put my food in my plan ahead of time. Don't give myself all these different options in the spur of the moment. Because in the spur of the moment, we're going to make emotional decisions. We might get stressed out. We might be tired. We might see something that we're craving. But like, I know when I've gotten the best shape of my life, I know like what I'm eating, and that's still enjoyable, right? It might be pizza. It might be, dessert, whatever. But I know ahead of time. Like when I go to a restaurant, I know ahead of time what I'm going to get. It may not be the most healthiest thing, but I've planned it in advance, so I don't have a ton of guesswork. It's just execute, and enjoy it. Like I don't have to like stress. It's like, no, I'm going to enjoy it, and it's easy. And like, if I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A and have lunch with my kids, like I know what I'm going to eat. It's not guessing. I think that's a huge little 2-minute hack that you can do at the beginning of your week or day or whatever. And it just like solves a lot of the headache that comes from guessing. What would you tell people as we wrap up here? Someone who's just on the fence about like getting help in general. It doesn't have to necessarily be our program, right? Because of course, like we're not silly. We're gonna say the program's awesome and like you should join and like, dump your life savings into it. It's gonna make a world of a difference, right? But like ultimately, just the person out there who's maybe hesitant to get help in general, whether it's with us or somebody else who's really great, what would you tell that person?
Well, I mean, simply enough, I could just say, I fully understand your hesitation and a little bit of fear and uncertainty. But I mean, realistically, if I would still be thinking like that, I would be the same person I was 2.5 years ago. And that to me is a scary thought. So, you know, you need to start today. Like you can't keep the mentality of, well, one day I'm going to get in shape. It has to be today's the day I'm going to start to get in shape. And that's pretty much how I looked at it. I said, this is something my life depends on. I can't continue living the lifestyle that I'm living because I'm going to have, either a very shortened lifestyle or I'm going to have a very low quality life. And that's not what I want. Right. So, the most important thing, to me in terms of not just living longer is that I want to have a quality life, right? Like if you I know you saw it because you had made a comment, but over on Father's Day I had taken that picture. Facebook had reminded me it was my nephew, and I think it was 12 years ago, and I was able to still put him on my shoulders again and recreate a photo of when he was 2 on my back, right? And lots of people were, even my family was impressed that I could put him on my shoulders with ease. But that's not something that would have been possible, 2 years ago for sure. So I want to be able to continue to do stuff like that, right? And my own father is turning 83 this August, and he's just been very active his whole life. Actively playing golf and walking the course, and then even still playing hockey. And like if I look at my dad, he's still able to do a bunch of stuff. He's able to walk far distances and just still be active. So that's the kind of lifestyle I want to have as well, right? So um yeah, that's my advice is, you got to stop putting it off and saying one day, and you just take the plunge and do it. You're not going to regret it. No one will ever regret getting in shape, right? Isn't that what you say? Like,
Nobody ever does, man. I've yet to.
Yeah.
The day I meet the person who regrets it, I can't wait to shake their hand and be like, "Just tell me what happened. what made you regret it?" Yeah, it's a joke, but it's true. Like nobody ever regrets improving their life. And that one day mentality is just got to flip the switch and make it day one. It's right now. It's not one day. It's day one. And there's so many little things you can do right now that can make a huge difference. You touched on a couple of them, walking, I mean, most of us are blessed with the ability to walk. Some of us can't, but we can still move, and there's people out there, you can find them on the internet who have very crazy limitations, but yet they're putting all the excuses to the side and they're out there doing it. I mean, one of the top speakers in the world has no arms and no legs. And he's a multimillionaire speaking on stages left and right because he's just telling his story, and he's not allowing that unfortunate circumstance to dictate his future. So, we have this beautiful life, and I think we take it for granted a lot, especially in the Western world, because we're kind of spoiled here, and it's like we get comfortable and we think, yeah, one day I'm going to make a change, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like 50. And you're like, holy crap, man. Like I said, one day when I was 35 and 15 years goes by in a blink. That's why we have the phrase life moves fast, make it count, because yeah, like everyone's going to tell you get in healthier shape so you don't die young. But like, what if something crazy happens? Like what if, you get hit by a bus? I know it's a terrible, sobering thought, but like there's a lot of people who just randomly pass away. But while they're here and while you're here, don't you want life to be incredible? Like, don't you want to have an enjoyable life? Like, don't feel limited by your physical body, and once again, like you put it perfectly. Like it's not complicated. It just comes down to a couple little tweaks and transforming some of your habits. And next thing you know, like you're a totally different person. I'm going to let you go, but just as a final thought, what were the final stats for you? Like what were the numbers in terms of weight loss? I know you've obviously built muscle now. You've run high rocks, like you've done a lot of crazy stuff, but like, what was like the general like timeline and transformation that you had?
So I think it only took me maybe like 3 or 4 months to really lose all the weight. So I think at my
Mm.
heaviest, I was 220 pounds. And I got down to about 168 was the lightest, and that was definitely my lowest body fat percentage. I believe I had a DEXA scan, and that was it was just prior to TT Live 2024. I was about 9% body fat. So that was pretty strict. I don't know if I would want to go down that low again, but I think right now I'm probably around 11% right now, and I'm about 180 pounds, which I'm pretty good. But I continue now to just kind of keep playing around, right, and see what works well for me. That's another great thing that I've really learned through the program, right? Is that now I've learned that I can control my eating to kind of morph my body how I want it,
Mm. Yeah, that's a
which is
powerful
amazing,
skill.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's nice waking up knowing like you have full control over what your body looks like and how it performs. You know, like a lot of people feel out of control because they don't have systems, but once you understand the system and like how it works, you're just like, I can pull this lever, I can push this button, and I can, like, I mean, dude, 9 to 11%. I mean, people would kill to be 11%, right? Like, I'm not even 11% right now. I'm probably like 16% body fat. Most people also have no idea about body fat percentages, right? They think like, oh my gosh, I have to get down to 3% body fat to see abs. Like, no, like you typically just have to be under like 20%. You have to be in the teen body fat percentage points to see abs. But nonetheless, having that skill, man, of being able to control your physique and enjoy your life at the same time, like it's really underrated. I think a lot of people would find so much peace in that, and look at the work as such a blessing because of what they get out of it. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing 30 minutes with me, man. I didn't mean to take up 30 minutes,
No
but
problem.
you just have a lot of
You, you
value
know,
and whatnot.
I just wanted to throw this in too, because
Sure.
just you had mentioned, like the misconceptions you have. It's really funny. Like through your program, I was actually able, I think I was 45 or 44, like when I first started your program, I was able to actually get a six pack. I never had a six pack my whole life, not even when I was in my 20s. And I remember being told when I was in my 20s that if I wanted a six pack, I had to stop eating. No, I couldn't eat any later than 6 p.m. And I believe that was true, right? Like you think of all the misconceptions and uh, wrong information that's out there, and people just believe it, right? Like
Sure.
no eating and like after 6 o'clock, and it's just crazy, like how difficult I thought it was, when in reality it's not. It's not. It is simple, but I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work. You got to put in the work. But as far as the plan, it's not too complicated. It's
Yeah.
pretty much a perfected science, right, at this point. So
Yeah, and to that point, by the way, I love that because a lot of people do think it's too late. You know what I mean? Like, the old joke of like, oh, when I was young, like my metabolism was fast and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, it's not that your metabolism is slow now. It's just your lifestyle is changed and you're not supporting a fast metabolism. A fast metabolism comes from your habits, and it's never too late to get a six pack, man. I mean, I have guys who are 60 years old in our program who are getting a six pack for the first time. It's just science. And to your point about the work, like everything in life is hard. Even if you live a easy, lazy life, it gets harder over time and it requires a lot of work to get out of bed in the morning. I talk to guys every day who are like, man, I'm 40 pounds overweight. I feel like I literally have a monkey on my back and it's hard throughout my day. Like everything feels challenging and it's just such a grind. I'm like, dude, you're putting in the work. It's just not the right work, So when you put in the right work, man, it feels good. Like the work is refreshing. You're like, man, that workout, man, I feel better versus like going to McDonald's or going to eat and you go to bed at night feeling terrible and you wake up 4 times a night because your body's just not optimized. But dude, you're the man. Like you walk it, you talk it, you do all the things. Look forward to hanging out this Saturday in New York. We're gonna have a great time. And yeah, you're just a great part of the community, man. And I appreciate you, dude. You're a great friend too, so that means a lot. So appreciate you
It means a
being
lot
here,
to
man.
me. I appreciate all of you guys so much too.
Yeah, you're awesome, man. I've yet to hear a bad thing about you. So except you take long to get ready. I heard. I'm not gonna say who told me that. They were like, yeah, he cares about his appearance. I was like, yeah, it kind of happens. It's like comes with the territory when you get in great shape. You go, you know what? Let me put a little more effort into the details, man. I'm just giving you a hard time, but you're the man, dude. I appreciate you so much.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
I appreciate you, brother.